Hey guys, Ben here from Session Media, and in this video we're going to be looking at how you can use Supermetrics to get a deeper understanding of how well your LinkedIn ad campaigns are performing. First off, if we jump into the LinkedIn ads platform, we can see our campaigns and their performance here, but let's quickly jump onto demographics. If we go on the drop down and select company, LinkedIn, if this ever loads, LinkedIn gives us a list of probably around 20 to 30 companies, maybe about 20 companies, which our ads are appearing in front of. And this is across all-time data, and it's pretty much giving us a breakdown and a gist of the companies of which we're getting ad impressions and sometimes clicks if there's enough data in front of. Now, this can be used as indicative data for us to make sure that we're targeting the right types of companies if we're doing demographic or firmographic persona-based targeting on LinkedIn ads rather than ABM. But the issue is it doesn't really give us too much insight. Now, if we use the Supermetrics Data Studio connector and we jump across to our Google Data Studio report here for our internal LinkedIn ads that we run, what we can see here is we've actually pulled through the data for the companies that we're getting impressions in front of. And rather than just getting 20 or so, if you scroll down here, we can see that we're getting loads and loads of different impressions. And this is just for the month. If I set it for, say, this is for a particular campaign. Let's set it for last year, for example, for this campaign that we ran. Rather than just showing us the top 20 or so when this loads. Give it a second. We can see now that we've got up to 3,741 companies which we can go and look at the company names and the impressions that we've got. So all the way from 40 impressions all the way through to 1 impression. So what this connector has done is it's opened up every single company name that we've appeared in front of, or our company's ad has appeared in front of over the period that we set at the top. And this is really useful for a few reasons. One, it allows us to continually make optimizations. So if we go through the list and say these people aren't hitting our criteria for our target audience market, we can remove them from the list and negative them out in a very similar way that you do negative keyword research or negative keyword implementation on Google Ads. But the main thing is around attribution and reporting. And LinkedIn is a demand gen channel in its essence. It's not really built as an intent channel or a direct response channel. People aren't typing in that they want, say, for example, a PPC agency into LinkedIn. They're scrolling down, they hit our target persona, and we get the ad in front of them. So because it's not an intent channel, people maybe aren't looking to buy then and there. So in your CRM, for example, you might get reports which say we've spent this much on LinkedIn ads, but we've only had, X amount of direct response leads, which doesn't look great for the company. But the way in which we should be using LinkedIn ads a lot of the time is to create that demand, begin that education, and persuade people that when they come to make that purchase decision, they should come straight to your brand through direct or organic search through typing in brand name. So in your CRM, you probably find a lot that you have a lot of companies that have come through to you and converted for your demo request or a quote request through the contact form. And that comes through in your CRM and your analytics as a direct lead. Now, it's great, but unless you do follow up with your sales team or create a form field on your website, it's not always easy to understand where that person's come from. But if LinkedIn ads is a primary marketing channel for you, what it's worth doing is going through and creating a list or a report of all of those leads that have come in through homepage organic, through potentially branded terms, if it's not ranking for any organic terms, or anyone that's come through from direct traffic, so typed in your direct URL, because these are the ones where we're not quite sure where they've come through for, and we'd love to know how many impressions potentially they've had on LinkedIn. So recently we had someone who came through and they were a direct traffic attributed lead, and they wrote in their message on our website saying, we saw your ads on LinkedIn, we'd love to have a conversation. So what I did is that actually made it easy for me to attribute it. But if they hadn't have put that, I could have gone into this report here and I could have seen that company potentially has had 18 impressions with one of our ads. They've had a click-through rate potentially that we've seen in the past, but they haven't actually converted on that click-through rate. Or it's been someone else in the company who we haven't been able to track. So this really allows us to start looking more holistically at the impact that LinkedIn ads are having, because we shouldn't always be creating ads to get a direct call to action. We should be leveraging them for engagement, and making sure that people watch a lot of the video, making sure that actually resonates with the content. And then the feedback loop that we can build in is, once you get a bit more sophisticated reporting mechanism, you can look to create and pull in contacts through HubSpot, for example, through Supermetrics. You can then merge this report, we're here with the company name, with your HubSpot contact report, and say anyone that comes in that's direct or organic through a homepage, let's see if we can try and match that company's name with the company that's got impressions on LinkedIn. Now, it's not always going to be 100% matched, because the LinkedIn name may be slightly different to the name that's being pulled through on the form. But what I'd call it is, it's very similar to Facebook's view-through conversions. And for those of you who aren't familiar with view-through conversions, they're not a great metric for Facebook, but it gives you an idea of who has come in, who's seen your ad. So Facebook will take anyone who had seen an ad for some shoes. They then go on to your website later. Facebook knows that they've seen your ad, didn't click on it, may not have been massively part of the buying journey, but then they'll take direct attribution for that within the platform. This is pretty much an equivalent to that. If you're driving a lot of first touch point engagement and awareness around your products or services in a B2B environment, then we want to know that that's potentially the lever that's being pulled in order to actually generate revenue. Because if a lot of people that are coming through have seen a good few impressions of your ads, or their company's seen a lot of impressions of your ads, maybe it's not the only touch point they're taking. Maybe they've seen it there, they've seen a webinar, you've got a referral, but we know that the LinkedIn ads is playing a part in the wider landscape, and more importantly, we know that we're targeting the right audience. So I appreciate there's a few different things to take into account there, but what I'd recommend is setting up a Supermetrics Data Studio connector with your LinkedIn ads, getting a full company list. Step one, looking to see if you can reduce the wasted ad spend for companies who maybe don't fit your target audience market, and then looking at setting up an attribution feedback loop, which allows you guys to see which companies have filled out direct or organic homepage, landing page, that come through for your homepage through organic, and set that up and start looking to see how many impressions that company has got via your LinkedIn ad targeting. That's all for now. If you guys would like a template of this report, then we can provide that. Otherwise, what you can do is go into Edit in your Google Data Studio campaign. You can click Add Data. And then with the Supermetrics report, you can type in LinkedIn. And here we can see we got LinkedIn ads here. And once you've added that into your account here, you'll be able to go across here and add LinkedIn ads company as a dimension at the top, and then have impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and everything else. And if you're then going to advance on and merge a data set with HubSpot, you can go on and you can insert add data set, and you can look at adding HubSpot and the contacts via it, merging them together, and really starting to create a nice feedback loop and attribution report of how your LinkedIn ads is playing into people that are coming through to your site and submitting forms which don't currently have a solid attribution. That's all for now, guys. Hope you found that useful. Any questions, obviously feel free to reach out to Supermetrics or myself, which is at sessionmedia.com. And have a great day. Thanks for listening.